Welcome and welcome back if you're new. Sorry I went missing for 2 weeks. School got ridiculously busy and I wanted to take some time and just get that all under control. So it's done now and we're back to videos. Really quickly, I just want to talk about my goals for these videos. I want to make them a little bit shorter, a little bit more concise, a little bit not 20 minutes long. Today I'm going to be showing you my note-taking process. And notice I haven't said aesthetic notes. That's because above all else, notes should be functional. Some people find pretty notes motivational, other people find them distracting and counterproductive. Personally, I prefer pretty simple notes. With all that being said, let's begin. So the stationery I use is very simple. I only use 3 supplies: the mild liner, a Tombow Fudinowski, and a Pilot G2 pen. I have all 25 of the Zebra mild liners that are currently available, and they're absolutely my favorite highlighter. I have the pack of 15, which is what I originally bought, and I have the Friendly mild set, and I also have the Refresh mild set. I've been using these mild liners since about the beginning of January, and so far I haven't had any problems with them. I know they get a lot of hype in the StudyTube and StudyGram community, but the hype is absolutely worth it. These 6 mild liners here are the ones I most often use for my notes, and they are all from the pack of 15. The mild liner has a chisel nib that's great for highlighting, and it also has a bullet nib that's great for underlining and circling formulas. My next essential supply for note-taking is the Tombow Fudinowski brush pen, both the hard tip and the soft tip. I use these to write the title and subtitles for my notes. My third and final stationery supply for note-taking is Pilot G2 pens. These pens are very smooth and dry relatively quickly, which is great for me since I'm a lefty. I thought I'd show y'all a real-time example of how these products work and how long it takes me to write down the notes. I use the Tombow Fudinowski as the title, and I'll usually write the title either before or after the lecture. Then I'll just write the date using the Zebra mild liner, and I'm really not sure why I chose a date that didn't exist for this example, but that's what we did, so we'll go with it. Next, I'll use the Tombow Fudinowski to write a subtitle. Sometimes I write the subtitle before I write the bullet points, but usually it's after, and I'll just leave a line so I know what the subtitle should be after I've gotten the information. If I need to write down a formula or a diagram or something, I'll typically draw it, and then using the Zebra mild liner, I'll just draw a little box around it just so it stands out. I was filming this with one hand while I was also drawing it, so normally my outlining would be a lot more precise. This is generally how my notes will look. My number 1 tip for taking notes in class is to already have an established shorthand and layout, so you aren't scrambling to absorb new information and organize it at the same time. My second tip is to use bullet points instead of paragraphs. Bullet points are easier to read, and they're also easier to write, so it's a win-win either way. My third tip is to read the PowerPoint first and then start writing things down. That way, if your professor or teacher changes the slide before you finish writing things down, the information will still have been in your head at one point, and you can quickly do it before starting the next one. My fourth tip is to summarize, and I'm sure you've heard this plenty of times before, but it's really the most effective to put things in your own words. Here are some notes that I've taken in class, and some of these could be considered pretty and some of them not so pretty, but the only thing that changed in these classes was the supplies that I was using. A quick note about your notes. Your notes from your different subjects are likely going to look very different. Your math notes aren't going to look like your science notes, aren't going to look like your French notes, and that's okay. My math notes, for example, are full of graphs and formulas, while my French notes are more vocabulary based. What your notes look like for each different class will depend on lots of things like the material, the teaching style, your learning style, and more. You shouldn't feel tied to an ideal layout or what you see someone else doing on Instagram. I personally do not rewrite my notes that often, but my number one tip is to never just copy your notes word for word. It's not a very effective study method, and your time is much more valuable than just redoing something you've already done. When you rewrite, it should be to express the material more clearly and logically. When I rewrite my notes, I usually do it relatively quickly after learning something, typically 2 to 5 days after I have a pretty firm grasp on the subject. If you rewrite often, I recommend having a separate notebook to keep your rewritten notes in. If you're going to rewrite, here are some steps to take. First, reread your original notes and make sure you understand what you're going to be writing. Then, figure out how you could better organize the information and if there's any information that you don't need to rewrite because you already have it memorized. Third, include the title, the date taken, and the date rewritten on your notes. This will make it so much easier when you're studying. A great thing about taking notes from a textbook is that you can go at your own pace. First, read a section and then summarize, and include any graphs, diagrams, or anything else like that the textbook includes, because they're probably important. My last tip is to take advantage of any practice tests that your textbook offers. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found a useful tip, and I hope this video was enjoyable. I post every Sunday, so I hope you'll stick around. Thank you for watching. Bye!